a huge thank you to our over 620 patrons, I think now. Seriously, you guys are amazing. I don't know what I'd do without y'all. And the music, of course, that's amazing, but everything else, the community, the support y'all show for me and my family, it's invaluable to us, seriously, and I really appreciate it. If you wanted to get a video like you're about to see now, join the $30 tier or up, and you get 1 to 2 free requests a month. The requesting is still open for the next week, probably. Then it'll be closed for the month, and you'll have to wait till January. So get on in there. See ya. Desire? I barely know her. I'm just kidding. Hi, guys. Welcome to Lee Reacts. Sorry for the bad jokes. That's just kind of what happens around here. Hope everyone's having a good day. I know I am. We are back with our Bob Dylan video of the week, and we're moving on to Desire. That was the most requested album on the last couple videos, to be honest. I have been posing the question, where do we go next after this one? We finished up Blood on the Tracks, and now we are here at Desire, which came out in 1976. We have done 1 track per minute. Can you guess which track it is? The last track, as always. We did Sarah a while ago because I looked at the album cover. I was like, I know that album cover. I was trying to remember what it was. I looked at the track listing, and there goes the phone. I was like, oh yeah, we've done that one. I remember. So we're gonna be doing 2 tracks today. The first 2 tracks, Hurricane and Isis. So there you go. Hopefully those aren't 2 words that get me demonetized. Like I said, this came out in 76, and apparently it's one of his most collaborative efforts with a lot of different people involved in it. There's another guy who helped write the song, Jax Levy? Jacques? I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm so bad with names. First one was recorded October 24, 1975, and second one, July 31st, 1975. About 15 minutes in total, so grab a drink, grab a smoke, let's go. If y'all aren't subscribed, help brother out, click that icon right below my face. I will link my Bob Dylan playlist up there. We've been doing these Tuesdays for a while now, and I love Mr. Dylan. I really do. All right, here we go. Hurricane, Bob Dylan, 3, 2, 1, go.
Pistol shots ring out in a barroom night. Enter Betty Valentine from the upper hall. She sees a bartender in a pool of blood. Cries out, my God, they've killed them all. Here comes the story of the hurricane. The man the authorities came to blame for something that he never done. Put in a prison cell, but one time he could have been the champion of the world.
Ooh, a violin.
3 bodies lying dead as Patty C. And another man named Bello moving around mysteriously. I didn't do what he says, and he throws up his hands. I was only robbing the register, I hope you understand. I saw him leave and he says, and he stops. One of us had better call up the cops. And so Patty calls the cops, and they arrive on the scene.
Those congas
with
are
their
amazing
red
too.
lights flashing in a hot New Jersey night.
Sounds like a murder case or something.
Meanwhile, far away in another part of town, Reuben Carter and a couple of friends are driving around. Number 1 contender for the middleweight crown. Had no idea what kind of shit was about to go down when a cop pulled him over to the side of the road. Damn. Just like the time before and the time before that. In Patterson, that's just the way things go. If you're black, you might as well not show up on the street unless you wanna draw the heat.
Violins are bleeding.
Alfred Bello had a partner and he had a rap for the cops. Him and other Dexter Bradley were just out prowling around. He said, I saw 2 men running out, they looked like middleweights. Jumped into a white car without upstate plates. And Miss Patty Valentine just nodded her head. Cop said, wait a minute, boys, this one's not dead. So they took him to the infirmary. And though this man could hardly see, they told him he could identify the guilty man.
sounds messed up, dude. This must be a real thing.
They took him to the hospital and they brought him upstairs. The wounded man looks up to his one dying eye. Say, why'd you bring him in here for? He ain't the guy. Here's the story of the hurricane. The man the authorities came to blame for something that he never done. Put in a prison cell, but one time he could have been the champion of the world. 4 months later, the ghettos are inflamed. Ruben's in South America, fighting for his name. Well, Arthur Dexter Bradley's still in the robbery game. And the cops are putting the screws to him, looking for somebody to blame. Remember that murder that you happened in a bar? Remember you said you saw the getaway car? Think you'd like to play ball with the law? Think it might have been that fighter that you saw running that night. Don't forget that you are white.
Wow. There's some uncomfortable truths in this song.
Arthur Dexter Bradley said, I'm really not sure. The cop said a poor boy like you can use a break. We got you for the motel job and you're talking to your friend Bello. You don't want to have to go back to jail, be a nice fellow. You'll be doing society a favor. That son of a bitch is brave and getting braver. We wanna put his ass in the stir. We wanna pin this triple murder on him. He ain't no gentleman jail.
This is hard, bro.
Ruben could take a man out with just one punch, but he never did like to talk about it all that much. It's my work, he'd say, I do it for pay. And when it's over, just as soon go on my way up to some paradise where the trout streams flow and the air is nice, and ride a horse along the trail. But then they took him to the jailhouse where they tried to turn a man into a mouse.
That violin is just otherworldly, bro. So good.
All of Ruben's cards were marked in advance. The trial was a pig circus, he never had a chance. The judge made Ruben's witnesses drunkards from the slums. To the white folks who watched, he was a revolutionary bum. And to the black folks, he was just a crazy nigger. No one doubted that he pulled the trigger. And though they
Christ,
could not
bro.
produce the gun,
I want to edit that out.
the DA said he was the one who did the deed, and the old white jury agreed.
This is ridiculous, bro.
Reuben Carter was falsely tried. The crime was murder one. Guess who testified?
I wonder.
Bello and Bradley, and they both all they lied. And the newspapers, they all went along for the ride.
They always do.
How can the life of such a man be in the palm of some fool's hand? To see him obviously framed couldn't help but make me feel ashamed to live in a land where justice is a gift. Now all the criminals in their coats and their ties are free to drink martinis and watch the sunrise, while Reuben sits like Buddha in a 10-foot cell, an innocent man in a living hell. Yes, that's the story of the hurricane, but it won't be over till they clear his name and give him back the time he's done. Put in a prison cell, but one time he could have been the champion of the world.
Damn, I cannot wait to read about this song afterwards. There it is. That was fucking moving, bro. What a triumph that song was. ISIS, Bob Dylan.
I married ISIS on the 5th day of May, but I could not hold on to her very long. So I cut off my hair and I rode straight away for the wild unknown country where I could not go wrong.
Yes. That violin
I
is so
came to
good.
a high place of darkness and light. The fighting line ran through the center of town. I hitched up my pony to a post on the right. Went into a laundry to wash my clothes down. A man in the corner approached me for a match. I knew right away he was not ordinary. He said, are you looking for something easy to catch? Said, I got no money. He said, that ain't necessary. We set out that night for the cold in the north. I gave him my blanket and he gave me his word. I said, where are we going? He said, we'll be back by the 4th. I said, that's the best news that I've ever heard. I was thinking about turquoise, I was thinking about gold, I was thinking about diamonds and the world's biggest necklace as we rode through the canyons, through the devilish cold. I was thinking about ISIS, how she thought I was so reckless. How she told me that one day we would meet up again, and things would be different the next time we wed. If I only could hang on and just be her friend. I still can't remember all the best things she said. We came to the pyramids all embedded in ice. He said, there's a body I'm trying to find. If I carry it out, it'll bring a good price. 'Twas then that I knew what he had on his mind. The wind
Piano and the
was
violin is such a
howling
good
and
match.
the snow was outrageous. We chopped through the night and we chopped through the dawn. When he died, I was hoping that it wasn't contagious, but I made up my mind that I had to go on. I broke into the tomb, but the casket was empty. There was no jewels, no nothing I felt I've been had. When I saw that my partner was just being friendly, when I took up his offer, I must have been mad.
This was a classic Dylan. With violin. It's so cool.
His body and I dragged him inside, threw him down in the hole and I put back the cover. I said a quick prayer and I felt satisfied. Then I rode back to find Isis just to tell her I love her. She was there in the meadow where the creek used to rise. Blinded by sleep and in need of a bed, I came in from the east with the sun in my eyes. I cursed her one time, then I rode on ahead.
This drummer has been killing it, bro. Who is it? Howard Wyatt. Killing it. Damn.
She said, where you been? I said, no place special. She said, you look different. I said, well, I guess. She said, you've been gone. I said, that's only natural. She said, you're gonna stay? I said, if you want me to, yes. Child, what drives me to you is what drives me insane. I still can remember the way that you smiled on the 5th day of May in the drizzle and the rain.
Like two completely different songs, but they had a lot of similarities, I guess, instrumentally. But that first one, that was a special song, bro, and it tackled such a real feeling topic. I'm guessing that was a real story because there was way too many details. I honestly no, because Bob, he's such a master storyteller. That could have been a made-up thing, but I'm guessing that it was a real thing because there were so many details to it. It sounded like someone got like that framed for like a murder or something, and it didn't sound like he was guilty. And you could hear all the like, you know, that the guy basically did the lineup when he barely could see, you know what I'm saying? And there was all this stuff that happened. You know, I was trying to pay attention as best I could. That violin was very distracting because it was so good, and Bob was like almost aggressive in some of his delivery here, and I think that was really called for the topic at hand, because there's been tons of systematic oppression, honestly, that's the word to use it, against African Americans for a very long time. And as someone who was raised in an area that's predominantly African American, it's actually the most affluent African American county in the States. And I grew up there, went to school there, you know, I spent most of my life there, and I was always, you know, the white boy. That's how it was. That's how I grew up, you know. But I got to see the beauties of their culture too, you know what I'm saying? Because every culture has their beauty and their downside. Every single one does. And I don't cut any cards, you know what I'm saying? That's just not who I am. But there are so many beautiful things about that culture. There really is. And I've always been around it like my entire life, up until recently, you know? And I've honestly felt like a fish out of the water being in a more, you know, a suburban almost aspect, even though I grew up on a farm, but it was in the ghetto. It's just hard to explain. That if you've ever been to Prince George's County, Maryland, you understand. It's a very interesting place. But there's been, you know, going back, you know, centuries here, you know, like it's just, there's still people alive that had to deal with things that are kind of like, if it was nowadays, people would be like all over the place trying to stop it, you know, but back then was a different time, you know. And I'm glad that we've gotten where we've gotten, at least with a lot of things, you know, because at least the awareness has been raised, and I think a lot of people know it now. Of course, there's always still going to be pockets of assholes out there that are always going to hold on to whatever beliefs, you know what I mean, but you can't really change their minds, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can try your best, but it's probably going to fall on deaf ears, to be honest, because if it's ingrained in you, you know, like people are people, bro, you know. And just like every culture, there's people that are like that, you know. But as someone who was raised in a very like multicultural area, you know, it wasn't just the African Americans. There was I had friends that were Asian, you know. I had all kinds of different little groups of friends, and I got to see all the wonders of cultures all over the world as a young kid, basically. And that's very good for people, or for kids, because it shows you that your little world isn't your the only place in the world, and it kind of, you care for everybody at that point, because it all depends if you're a good person or not. It depends on how you treat others and how you treat yourself, you know what I mean? And if you don't treat yourself well, you're not going to treat others well, more than likely, and vice versa. And I think whatever that case was that he was talking about, I'm going to look it up right now. Hopefully that person got set free, whatever happened. All right, so Hurricane and Isis obviously were track 1 and track 2. It was co-written by that Levy fellow. It was on Desire. Yep. The song is about the imprisonment of boxer Reuben Hurricane Carter. That makes sense. It compiles acts of racism and profiling against Carter, which Dylan describes as leading to a false trial and conviction. Interesting. Okay, so the Carter guy was charged with triple murder, and then I guess he tried to say that it was the other guy. Interesting. In his autobiography, Carter maintained his innocence, and after reading it, Dylan visited him in state prison in Woodbridge Township, New Jersey. Of writing the song, author Clinton Halen wrote that Dylan had written topical ballads such as The Lonesome Death of Hattie Carroll, and Bob wasn't sure that he could write a song about Carter. He was just filled with all these feelings about Hurricane. He couldn't make the first step. I think the first step was putting a song in a total storytelling mode. I don't remember whose idea it was to do that, but really the beginning of the song is like stage directions. Like what you would read in the script, basically. Bob loves movies, and he can write movies that take place in 8 to 10 minutes, yet seem fuller than regular movies. I guess after meeting with Carter in prison and later with a group of his supporters, Dylan began to write Hurricane. It was one of his many protest songs in the 70s, apparently. It was also recorded, I guess, and showed in Masters of War as well. The story is true, and the names haven't been changed to protect the innocent. Man, that's brutal right there. Apparently, he won on an appeal in 1985, and he got out. So that's awesome. I mean, I don't know the full story, so I don't know. But from what Bob said, that man was innocent. So I'm glad that he got out. But you never know. Let's see. I'm going to go back to Desire. So for the personnel, Scarlett Rivera on the violin. Definitely the standout instrument throughout, and the harmonica from Bob at the end, in the middle of the second song. Excellent. Emmylou Harris on background vocals. Rob Stoner on bass. Howard Wyeth on drums and piano. Luther Ricks on the congas on Hurricane. That and the violin was definitely the standout instrument on that song. Those congas and the whole percussion in general went so hard in that song, bro. Ronnie Blakely and Steven Souls did background vocals on Hurricane as well. And that is it. It is on, of course, the top 500 greatest albums of all time. And like I said, we've already done Sarah, which I remember, very good song. As usual, I've always done the last song of the album, but never listened to the full album. So we'll have to listen to Sarah over again. Just an excellent showing from Bob. That was some of his most scathing, but also best storytelling aspects, like put into one song. Like there's even parts I'm gonna have to edit a little bit just because it's probably not even gonna pass the censors. Maybe there was a word in there that I probably can't let be heard on YouTube lest I be demonetized. But it might take away from the effect of the song, because like he was talking about some real shit in that song, some very uncomfortable truths that a lot of people just don't want to face anymore. And it's always going to be a present thing in our society. I think it's kind of a thing that's built into us in a way. Like it's a survival mechanism, a tribalism bullshit that it's like leftover, like remnants, DNA in us of just like bygone eras, it feels like. Even though it's still a very real thing and it happens every day, but it happens to everybody, it's not obviously just one specific culture, but there are specific cultures that get it way worse than others, and that'll never be fair, obviously. And I wish it could all stop, but in a realist kind of sense, the best thing you can do, like how I learned with it, because I dealt with it as a young kid, being in that area, to be honest. I just let it roll off me, and it makes you stronger, I got a lot of racist stuff thrown at me, being the only white kid, but honestly, I had a lot of really cool people that stood up for me too, and then I learned how to stand up for myself eventually, and it all worked out. And then Isis, that felt like a Bob Dylan song through and through. You know what I mean? Like, it felt like one of the songs we've listened to a few times, like, before. You know, it definitely had that Dylan bluesy sort of vibe to it. You know, I love the harmonica being used throughout. The violin is the new kind of aspect to these songs that I just can't get enough of, man. Scarlett Rivera on the violin is just excellent, man. I mean, from start to finish of both of those songs, just ever present in the mix. It just sounded so good. Wherever the violin went, my ears went, and I loved it. I don't know exactly what that song is about. I'm probably not going to get too far into it, but I will look at it just to appease myself if I could find it. There it is. Isis. The song its allusions to ancient Egypt, including sharing its title with Isis, the Egyptian goddess. Apparently, it's a song written about marriage, of course, in Dylan fashion. He's so good at writing those songs and then using like the guise of ancient Egypt to tell a story about a relationship or a marriage. Sounds like Bob Dylan. So I'd say the congas and the violin in the first song, and then the violin in the second track are my favorite instrumental part. But the lyrics in the first track and Bob's delivery was my favorite thing throughout. I mean, that was bam. That was an arrow to the heart right there, basically. And it's so true. And I'm glad that he got out. I think he passed away in 2014, Hurricane. But he was a great boxer, apparently. Now I'm going to go look up some of his fights now, I think. I like boxing. So thank you for watching, guys. If you have any suggestions, if we should just keep going in order with this album or do something different, let me know down below. See you later.